When reality television viewers first tuned into Sister Wives more than a decade ago, they were introduced to a large, unconventional family navigating the challenges of polygamy in a world that didn't quite understand them. The Browns, led by patriarch Kody and his then four wives Mary, Yanel, Christine, and Robyn, offered a glimpse into their homes, their struggles, and their children's lives. Among the 18 children raised in the Brown household, few have been as outspoken in recent years as Gwendolyn Brown, daughter of Christine and Kody. And her latest revelations have sent ripples across fans and critics of the show alike. In a surprising admission that's raising questions about reality TV ethics, Gwendolyn disclosed that she and her siblings were never paid to appear on Sister Wives. The show, which documented their upbringing, milestones, family disputes, and intimate moments, aired for years with their lives exposed to millions. Yet the children, those whose lives became part of a public spectacle, saw no direct financial benefit. According to Gwendolyn, the network only paid the parents, with none of that income set aside specifically for the children despite their heavy involvement. Her statement comes amid growing concern and conversation around the protection of minors on reality television. Unlike traditional child actors, reality TV children are not always shielded by the same legal safeguards or financial protections. Laws like the Coogan Act exist to ensure child actors in film and scripted TV receive a portion of their earnings, but similar regulations have yet to be fully enforced or even created in many states for reality television. Gwendolyn's experience highlights this dangerous loophole, where children's participation is often assumed as part of their family unit, but the compensation remains exclusive to the adults. What makes her revelation all the more striking is the level of involvement the Brown children had in the show. For years, viewers watched them grow up. They were filmed during holidays, family reunions, school events, and personal milestones. Emotional moments, some of which they may have preferred to keep private, were edited into entertainment for audiences. Gwendolyn says that for most of her young life, she didn't even realize she had the option to say no. Participation felt compulsory, and the presence of cameras became normal. But as she grew older and became more aware of the implications, resentment began to grow. She's been candid about how being filmed during tough emotional periods was particularly difficult. There were moments, she recalled, when she wanted nothing more than to have a hard day in peace, but instead found herself under scrutiny. Those moments weren't just observed by her parents, they were archived for millions of viewers to analyze, judge, and sometimes even mock online. Gwendolyn admits that this environment affected her emotional development and contributed to feelings of anger and resentment toward both her parents and the network. These revelations also brought renewed attention to the broader Brown family dynamic. Christine and Kody's relationship was a focal point on the show for many seasons. Their eventual separation in 2021 after a spiritual marriage that spanned more than 2 decades wasn't exactly shocking for close viewers, but the aftermath painted a clearer picture of just how much strain had existed behind the scenes. Gwendolyn reflected on that period, revealing that even as a young child, she often hoped her parents would separate because of how unhappy they seemed together. She would witness arguments and tension that left her feeling unstable and confused, longing for peace that never seemed to come while the cameras were rolling. As the years went on and the cracks in the polygamist family structure became harder to conceal, Gwendolyn found her voice. She not only distanced herself from the narrative being sold to the public, but began using her platform to share her truths. One of the most controversial moments was her criticism of how her sexuality was handled on the show. Gwendolyn, who came out as bisexual, alleged that producers attempted to use her identity for ratings. She described being asked to talk about her sexuality during a scene that was already heavy with emotional content, her parents' separation. She declined, feeling that the network's request was not in her best interest, but rather in pursuit of more dramatic, attention-grabbing content. This revelation drew backlash toward the network, as fans and advocacy groups called into question the ethical boundaries of reality show production. Is it acceptable for producers to ask minors to disclose personal, potentially vulnerable details about their identity on camera, especially when compensation and proper mental health support aren't in place? Gwendolyn's openness reignited that conversation in a major way. Despite all the emotional turmoil and missteps along the way, Gwendolyn is now entering a new chapter of life on her own terms. In late 2022, she announced her engagement to her girlfriend Beatriz Queiroz, and the two have since become a visible, supportive couple in the LGBTQ+ community. Her graduation from Northern Arizona University in 2024 marked another milestone, one that symbolized her transition from a young girl forced into the spotlight to an independent adult who's learning how to reclaim her story. That journey hasn't been without difficult choices. Gwendolyn famously missed her mother Christine's wedding to David Woolley in October 2023, a decision she made to prioritize her educational commitments. While some fans speculated that her absence hinted at a strained relationship, she later clarified that she still deeply loves and supports her mother. In fact, she even posted a message of gratitude online when Christine sent her a gift as a gesture of love. It was one of many subtle reminders that despite their messy past, the Brown family still shares a bond that continues to evolve. Gwendolyn's evolving role as a voice of reason and reflection has made her a fan favorite in her own right. She's found a platform through YouTube and social media to connect with viewers on a deeper level, offering behind-the-scenes insights, answering questions, and giving commentary on past episodes. Her unique perspective has been refreshing, especially as it offers clarity on what happened behind the camera, context that was often missing from the glossy final product aired on TLC. Her revelations are also encouraging others to speak out. Several siblings have voiced support for her openness, and some have even begun sharing their own frustrations about life in front of the camera. While not all of the Brown children have chosen to go public, there's growing momentum in the conversation about how reality TV affects children, particularly those who didn't choose fame but inherited it from their parents' decisions. The financial aspect remains a sore subject. Gwendolyn confirmed that none of the money earned from Sister Wives during her childhood was saved in a trust or given to her directly. As a result, she entered adulthood without the financial cushion many might assume a reality TV star would have. While her parents were able to use the earnings for household expenses and other needs, the absence of designated funds for the children feels to her like a missed opportunity to ensure their futures were protected. Breaking down Sister Wives Brown family's finances over the years, income, spending habits, and more. The financial evolution of the Brown family, made famous by the long-running TLC reality show Sister Wives, has been as turbulent and dramatic as their personal relationships. From bankruptcy filings to purchasing multiple properties across several states, the Browns' income sources and spending habits have long been a subject of public fascination. As the family grew and splintered across the years, so did their approach to money, evolving from joint finances under the guise of unity to fragmented bank accounts and financial independence as the marriages unraveled. Understanding the Browns' finances requires peeling back the layers of their public life, the business ventures they pursued, and the economic consequences of sustaining a polygamist family in front of a national audience. When Sister Wives first aired in 2010, viewers were introduced to Kody Brown, his 3 wives, Mary, Yanel, and Christine, and their collective 13 children. Robyn would join the family later that same year, bringing the total number of children to 18. With 4 wives, dozens of mouths to feed, and one man primarily working outside the home at the time, it was clear from the beginning that money was tight. In the show's early seasons, financial strain was openly discussed. There were moments of stress when grocery bills came up, when moving from one state to another required resources the family didn't quite have, and when new babies arrived, amplifying the cost of living. Before the cameras began rolling, financial hardship had already taken a toll on several of the Brown adults. In 2005, Kody and Mary filed for bankruptcy. This move laid bare the reality of the Brown family's precarious financial position. Despite Kody's work in advertising and sales, his income simply couldn't support the demands of multiple households. 5 years later, in 2010, the same year the show premiered, Christine also filed for bankruptcy. This signaled that whatever financial recovery the Browns hoped reality television might bring them hadn't yet materialized. Christine's bankruptcy filing revealed she had accumulated significant debt with little means to pay it back, as she was largely a stay-at-home mom and didn't earn an outside income at the time. The financial situation took a sharp turn when Sister Wives gained traction. The Browns weren't instant millionaires, but their contracts with TLC allowed for an annual injection of cash that was previously unattainable for the family. It was reported that TLC paid between $250,000 and $400,000 per season, and that the Brown adults, Kody and the wives, split about 10% of the per-episode budget. The remaining funds were presumably used to cover production costs and overhead, meaning the family shared whatever was left. Even then, dividing those earnings among 4 households was no simple matter. If the family was earning, for example, $40,000 per episode in total, and a season consisted of 12 episodes, that equaled $480,000. Split among the 4 wives and Kody, each adult would theoretically receive $96,000 before taxes and expenses. For most American families, that's a respectable income. For a family with nearly 20 children and a tendency to maintain separate homes, that money evaporated quickly. What makes the Brown family's financial story even more unique is their attempt to maintain a unified front while managing 4 distinct households. Initially, all 4 women lived under one roof in Lehi, Utah. But when they fled Utah to avoid legal complications regarding their polygamous lifestyle, they relocated to Las Vegas, Nevada. There, each wife had her own home in a cul-de-sac, 4 houses in total purchased simultaneously. These homes were not just symbolic of their new beginning, but also indicative of massive financial commitment. Buying 4 homes was a logistical feat, and the Browns managed to finance them all, either through loans or help from TLC. However, the cost of maintaining these properties, furnishing them, paying utilities, and managing everyday expenses proved to be daunting. The family was also investing in future business ideas, such as Robyn's jewelry and clothing boutique, My Sister Wife's Closet. While launched with high hopes, the online store quickly fell into dormancy. It became inactive by 2019, and although it technically still exists, it has stopped updating or fulfilling orders. The boutique was intended to generate independent income for the family and reflect their unique lifestyle, but its failure added to their financial woes. Beyond the boutique, the wives each explored their own ventures. Yanel became a certified health coach, promoting a wellness brand and supplement line online. She often used her Instagram to engage with clients and motivate others to live healthier lives, especially focusing on women over 50. She also partnered with her daughter Madison to grow their customer base, leveraging their fame. Christine, on the other hand, began working with LuLaRoe, the multi-level marketing clothing company. She held live sales and appeared enthusiastic in promoting her inventory. Eventually, she too joined the supplement business and followed in Yanel's footsteps to build a financial cushion outside the family. Mary, often portrayed as the most emotionally distant in the group, made a major financial decision when she purchased and renovated a historic family home in Utah. She converted the property into a bed and breakfast named Liz's Heritage Inn. Mary took out multiple loans for the renovation, making it a risky but passionate investment. She ran the business largely on her own, though her strained relationship with the rest of the family created questions about whether it was a truly collaborative venture. The inn, while charming and often booked out, became another example of the Browns' separate financial interests rather than a unified strategy. While the wives were busy building personal brands and businesses, Kody's financial stability continued to waver. In 2018, the Browns bought over 12 acres of undeveloped land in Flagstaff, Arizona, for $820,000. This move came after they decided to leave Las Vegas. The plan was ambitious: build one large home for the whole family or 4 separate houses on divided lots. However, construction never began. With tensions rising and the family fracturing, those plans were quietly shelved. The land remained undeveloped for years, accumulating property taxes that strained the family's resources. It became symbolic of both their shared dreams and their failure to achieve them. Kody and Robyn, considered by many fans to be the most financially stable couple in the family, purchased a massive 5-bedroom home in Flagstaff for $890,000. That move sparked controversy within the family. Other wives felt that while they were renting modest homes or struggling with finances, Kody and Robyn were building a life of stability and permanence. This perception intensified the belief that Robyn was being financially prioritized. In late 2024, Kody and Robyn listed the home for sale, reportedly due to rising property costs and an inability to maintain the home on dwindling income. By that point, the show's popularity had started to decline, and with it, the reliable paychecks from TLC. Another area of financial strain came from health and medical emergencies. Robyn's son Dayton, from a previous marriage, was seriously injured in an ATV accident. The hospital bills were significant, and Kody and Robyn found themselves unable to pay them in full. Eventually, a lien was placed on their home due to unpaid medical debt. Christine, in a separate incident, publicly pleaded with fans to support her Lularoe sales to raise funds for her daughter Isabel's $50,000 scoliosis surgery. These moments were painful reminders that even with television fame, the Browns weren't immune to the crushing costs of healthcare in America. Yanel's financial frustrations reached a boiling point during one of the later seasons of the show. She told cameras she had nothing to her name, and that after decades of investing in the family, she was left with no assets. Her candid admission stunned fans and painted a sobering picture of what life looks like for women in plural marriages without legal protections. Since she was never legally married to Kody, and since most of the family's properties weren't in her name, her contributions over the years offered no financial return when she separated from Kody. In October 2023, the family quietly dissolved Kody Brown Family Entertainment, LLC. The company had served as a business entity for their reality TV income and public appearances. Its dissolution signaled the formal end of the family's collective financial strategy. By then, Christine had married David Woolley, Mary had emotionally and financially checked out, and Yanel had declared her independence. Robyn and Kody were the last standing couple, but their finances had also taken a hit. In recent years, the family's estimated net worths have become a talking point among fans. Kody's net worth reportedly stands at around $800,000, thanks largely to TLC and property holdings. Robyn's is estimated at $600,000, while Mary, Yanel, and Christine are each estimated at $400,000. These figures are speculative but reflect the many years of television earnings, book deals, online sales, and appearances. Still, with a lifestyle that once demanded multiple mortgages, business investments, medical bills, and the high cost of raising children, these net worths don't tell the full story. Ultimately, the Brown family's financial journey is deeply interwoven with their personal one. Their story is about more than dollar signs. It's about loyalty, imbalance, independence, and the cost of unconventional living. From bankruptcy court to big houses in Flagstaff to dissolving businesses and pleading with fans for support, the Browns' finances have been a rollercoaster ride. As the show potentially draws to a close and new chapters open for each former wife, one thing is clear: they're no longer pooling their money into a single dream. Each person is now building a life and a financial identity on their own terms. And after years of sharing everything, that might be the most expensive and liberating investment they've ever made. Another area of financial strain came from health and medical emergencies. Robyn's son Dayton, from a previous marriage, was seriously injured in an ATV accident. The hospital bills were significant, and Kody and Robyn found themselves unable to pay them in full. Eventually, a lien was placed on their home due to unpaid medical debt. Christine, in a separate incident, publicly pleaded with fans to support her Lularoe sales to raise funds for her daughter Isabel's $50,000 scoliosis surgery. These moments were painful reminders that even with television fame, the Browns weren't immune to the crushing costs of healthcare in America. Yanel's financial frustrations reached a boiling point during one of the later seasons of the show. She told cameras she had nothing to her name, and that after decades of investing in the family, she was left with no assets. Her candid admission stunned fans and painted a sobering picture of what life looks like for women in plural marriages without legal protections. Since she was never legally married to Kody, and since most of the family's properties weren't in her name, her contributions over the years offered no financial return when she separated from Kody. In October 2023, the family quietly dissolved Kody Brown Family Entertainment, LLC. The company had served as a business entity for their reality TV income and public appearances. Its dissolution signaled the formal end of the family's collective financial strategy. By then, Christine had married David Woolley, Mary had emotionally and financially checked out, and Yanel had declared her independence. Robyn and Kody were the last standing couple, but their finances had also taken a hit. In recent years, the family's estimated net worths have become a talking point among fans. Kody's net worth reportedly stands at around $800,000, thanks largely to TLC and property holdings. Robyn's is estimated at $600,000, while Mary, Yanel, and Christine are each estimated at $400,000.